Hey everybody, so I made this video because my buddy David helped me out and it was something very simple and it likely saved me $200–300. So this is my Cub Cadet rider and it randomly had this issue where you go to crank it and it wouldn't start. It was like the starter, the Bendix gear on the starter wasn't engaging the flywheel, like it wasn't, cycling the motor. And it made a really ugly sound, almost sounded, like it was kind of grinding or that it was just spinning. And if you watch some of the other YouTube videos for this particular type of problem, other people have posted videos where they demonstrate the sound so you could hear it. But mine was doing that, so I was convinced that it was the starter. I was like, oh, okay, so it must be the starter. So I bought, well, first I removed the old starter. Here's the old one, and this right here is that Bendix gear. And what happens when you start it, this thing comes up, engages the flywheel. There's a piston rod in here, and it comes up, moves this gear up, and it spins, engages the flywheel. So I expected that when I was going to pull this off that there would be a problem with this, like maybe it wasn't free moving, or maybe the rod was stuck in an up position. But when I took it off, clearly that was not the case, and this actually looks totally fine. But I had already bought a new one, and so I replaced it. And in case you ever have to replace one of these starters, it's just right here, and literally just has like a couple bolts on it, like here and here. Real easy to, and the power source for it right there. Real easy to remove and start, but that did not fix my problem. So I had a new starter. Put that on, still wouldn't crank. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to take it in to a shop because I'm just, listen, I'm not a very mechanically inclined guy. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna have to, take it and pay, and it was gonna suck. So I was telling my buddy David about my issue, and the guy's been like a mechanic for 30–40 years. He's very mechanically inclined. And he suggested a few things to me, some really simple things. He said, listen, man, most rider caps are not vented like a car or a truck. And sometimes that whole system, like there's a vapor lock system, and maybe you just need to vent that. So he suggested removing the cap and putting it back on. So I tried that. I was like, okay, well, let me do that. Took that off. Yeah, man, let me vent it. And then put this one back, put that back on. Anyways, so I did that, and then he also said, listen, on top of the motor, there's this screen area thing. And he said, see if you can manually push that around with your hand. He's like, and if you can't do it, then, it might be seized up or whatever. So, and I can't do it with just one hand because it is a little hard to push around. But let me see if I can show you that maybe just that it moves a little bit. It'd be easier with two hands, but I only have one hand because I'm holding my phone. Anyways, but it did move. It moved around. So I was like, okay, so, whatever. That I was able to kind of rotate it a little bit. And then he also suggested that I disconnect the spark plug. And then with the spark plug disconnected, crank it. So I did that. I removed the spark plug, which on most riders is, again, very accessible. It happens on this particular Kohler motor. It just happens to be right here. So I just disconnected the boot right off there, let it hang, and I cranked it. Well, I noticed when I cranked it that this spun around again like it was supposed to, like it was going to try to start. So that was promising. I was like, great. So I reconnected the spark plug and, had the choke on and started it, and it kicked right over. So it was a very easy fix. My buddy David talked me through it. So if you ever run into this problem, this might be something that works for you. It worked for me. And like I said, it was, somebody that has no mechanical skills could do these simple tasks. And it resolved the issue and saved me a lot of money. So I hope, that if you have this situation, that this helps you out and solves your problem too. Thanks.